A 25-year-old Sudanese migrant to Tennessee, just outside Nashville in Antioch, went to a Christian church with a gun and left his car running in the driveway, went in and started shooting indiscriminately, murdered one churchgoer and injured, I believe, 7 others. Dr. Lott, I'd like you to tell our viewers how this shooting spree in a gun-free zone finally came to an end, and explain, if you can, why only one woman was murdered. That was still a horrific tragedy, but why it wasn't 10 or 20 who were murdered in this busy church.
Right. Well, when the attacker came to the church, they were just letting out of service. There was one woman who had gone out to her car in the parking lot. She was the one who was killed. And then he went into the church and started firing. An usher there named Engel confronted him. They got into a wrestling match. You have to understand, the attacker is a very large guy. I don't know exactly how tall he is, but I've seen pictures of him with police officers, and he pretty much towers over them. Plus, he's a bodybuilder. So this guy has multiple pictures on social media showing off his muscles. He's a relatively strong guy. The person that got into a wrestling match with him, the usher, is definitely not a bodybuilder. And so it was very heroic that he would throw himself at the attacker. They wrestled very briefly. The attacker pistol whipped him, causing a fair amount of blood to come from the head of the usher. But apparently in the scuffle there, the attacker accidentally shot himself. It was just a minor flesh wound cut across part of his chest, skin, and his arm. But they were very minor injuries. But in any case, the usher apparently realized that there was no way that he was going to be able to physically subdue the attacker, and ran to his car, got his permanently concealed handgun from his car, came back, and was able to stop the attacker by pointing the gun at the attacker and holding him there, threatening to shoot him if he moved, waiting until the police were able to arrive.
Yeah. That's a classic story, isn't it? I mean, I think of the worst mass shootings around. I think of, Anders Breivik, actually, who was in pretty much a disarmed country, and he went through a kids camp. And really, so many of these people, they only stop when they run out of bullets, when they kill themselves, as sometimes happens, or when finally that second gun arrives, often by an armed policeman who might be 5, 10, 20 minutes, an hour sometimes away. This is a perfect example of a private citizen with the right to carry a firearm stopping what obviously would have been much more dangerous. I mean, first of all, as you say, heroically throwing himself against a much larger man. We've shown images of the two men, the big burly guy from Sudan. I mean, he must, look at it, that's just his head and his neck, but you're right, I've seen pictures of him towering over the cops. And the usher, let's just show him one more time. I mean, I don't want to use the word nerdy because I'm pretty nerdy too. But I tell you, he may look frail on the outside, but boy, he's got a lion's heart inside. But as you point out, he had no hope without a gun. The gun was the great equalizer, and the fact that it was his gun and not a policeman's gun that was 20 minutes away, half an hour away, that probably saved a bunch of lives. I mean, it's just common sense it saved lives, don't you think? That's an excerpt from my daily TV show, The Ezra Levant Show. Normally it's behind a paywall, but I thought you'd like this video, so we put it on YouTube. If you want to subscribe to watch the daily show every day, including always 2 interviews a day, and I read my hate mail, just click on this screen and become a premium member.